Squire of Hell. By Troy Maverick. Chapter 3. Hell, all of that only for her to blow my brains out. The expression of appreciation was almost too much to bear. I flicked the blood off my blade, put it away, and then took one good look at her. She was a beauty all right, her hair was sunrise gold and she had sugar-red lips, with a real shapely figure. She was curvy in all of the womanly places, a real busted blonde, dressed on the more conservative side. Despite that, the 5'7" damsel was sending me hostile vibes. Her voice was sweet but her demeanor wasn't, and I didn't want to show her that I was the slightest bit impressed with her empty threat. Entertained, actually. If you're going to shoot me down with my own gun, stop procrastinating and just do it already, I said, enticing her. But she froze, stumped with shakes and chills. Her hands on the pistol grip of my shotgun fell in tremors, and I could tell from the look in her frightened blue eyes and the heat rising up her rose cheeks that she was bluffing. No. Afraid you'll miss. Here, let me make it easier on you. I taunted, walking right up to the barrel, pressing my forehead against metal. Close enough.
Stop it,
she bawled.
I'm serious, I'll shoot you.
Enough with the teasing foreplay. I grabbed the barrel, slowly glazing my fingers over hers on the trigger. You know how to use a gun, don't you? Why are you hesitating? I looked at her and those quivering lips, glaring at her dead center. Maybe I'm not so much of a monster that you make me out to be. Because if I were, you wouldn't have a problem killing me right here and now. Her type was painfully predictable, until her grip on the trigger tightened, and she bucked her arms up. Just like that, she shot, showing me what she was made of. But instead of shooting me, she shot the towering demon inching his way behind us. It was a nice shot, too. Right between the eyes. Shit, I should have heard that beast coming. He was the same size as the first one. I'd been distracted with her shenanigans, but luckily, this girl was a sharpshooter. Though, that fact seemed to have been a surprise to her as well.
I killed it.
She shirked back in fear just as the beast dropped dead. I stood there in the middle of her hysteria confused, because I had tried using my gun back at Ebenmere, and it didn't work. But here, in this strange place we dropped in, it worked. Although with her kill, my hand didn't glow.
Oh my god, I'm losing my mind. Seeing demons and monsters. Or have I actually gone to hell?
Sure looks like it, I said, intentionally trying to freak her out. Honestly, I had no clue where we were. And with the portal we'd just gone through disappearing, I'd say we were stuck here until we could find a way to go back home.
No. I've done nothing wrong. I shot it out of defense.
She whimpered, dropping on her knees, cradling her head down as she hyperventilated.
I'm not a sinner. I'm not a killer. I'm nothing like you. Why did you drag me into this?
Drag. Her eyes popped open, the mystery girl looking up to me visibly upset.
Is this a trick?
She said angrily, getting up on her feet and getting in my face.
Did you bring me here as a sport? So you can hunt me down like the rest of your victims?
You think the people I killed were victims?
You have no right deciding who gets to live and who doesn't. You cannot swing that gun around and play God.
And neither can those savages.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
I sighed. I don't appreciate being preached to. Look, the alternative was letting the demon pretending to be a human march you right in here without resistance, I snapped back at her. Or did you forget that I was the one who'd killed your capturer? My question left her speechless. Would you have preferred being dismembered? Eviscerated? Or maybe have a chain around your neck, told to spread your legs open every night to an old cunt who bought you off the back of a pickup truck? She winced, her sad eyes turning away from me.
Please. Stop.
She got real timid once I started knocking some sense into her, and when I snatched my gun from her grasp, I could tell she was done trying to blame me for saving her. While I'd love to stick around and defend my case, I am not the one you should be wasting time fighting with, I said, slipping my shotgun back in its holster. I am just as confused as you are as to where we spontaneously landed. Now, if you want to hang around and sulk about it, be my guest. But if you can stomach being around a criminal, then I suggest we start moving. Standing around here much longer is dangerous. You don't need me to tell you that much, right? She finally looked back at me, trying not to glare. I could tell she was still unsure about me, but honestly, she didn't have any better choices. The pretty girl in the red dress decided to make herself useful again, tearing up the skirt of her dress in 2 ways. Then she walked over to me with the strip.
Permission to touch you, righteous criminal?
Such sarcasm, it was hard to miss. I understood what she was trying to do, so I brought my wounded arm out, and allowed her to wrap the tourniquet on. A sloppy job, but I'll allow it, I said, giving her some wit.
I can tell you're going to be more unbearable than I thought.
She complained, tightening the wrap even harder at my comment. We move north. Our priority should be finding shelter and a source of food until we figure out what we've gotten ourselves into here.
By the sounds of it, you're planning on camping out in these barren wastelands,
She said worriedly, running her hands up and down her cold arms.
Don't you want to find a way to get back home?
And how exactly am I going to do that without first knowing where we are? So far, the welcoming package consisted of 2 demonic monsters who'd rather have our heads than guide us to the nearest exit. So unless you have a portal ready to phase us out of here, we are stuck. We find ways to survive first, everything else is second priority. She protested, rolling her eyes at me, but followed my lead nonetheless.